As you can notice right in front of us right now, we have a wealth of riches. Today we'll be announcing the 5 winners of our PSP contest. We'll be giving away 6 copies of the World of Warcraft Collector's Edition.
You even got them stacked up over here.
Look at all these. Hey, who wants one of these?
That's
We're giving away
business.
6 of them thanks to the fine people of Blizzard.
That's really nice of them.
That's really nice of them. And as we said, Brian will be playing the game as we go along. Brian, if someone wants to find you right now and roll through Azeroth, where are you?
We need all the help we can get because we're getting ganked like crazy by Horde up at in the Arathi Highlands, right near Stromgarde Keep.
And what server are you on?
We're on Ner'zhul server. It's a PvP server, so lots of infighting going on all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
That's sounds like a lot of fun. So we got that going on. Also, Ryan.
Yes, sir.
This week, yesterday and today, 2 big press events, 2 big companies, THQ and Konami were both in town showing off all kinds of stuff. What are we going to be talking about today?
We're going to be talking about what you saw at THQ last night.
That's right.
And we got to tell the folks at home, there was a lot of GameSpot producers and editors up late last night getting you guys the business. You were here till like 4, weren't you?
I don't know. It's just regular business hours here at GameSpot. I'm not worried about it.
But yeah, we got all that stuff at THQ. But of course, the thing that was happening from 10:30 this morning till 3:30, so it's basically just ended. This is as live as it gets. We have the Konami stuff all lined up, ready to go. So all that was like tremendous because they announced some new stuff, some big secret stuff, but also we got tons of video stuff, and I think we're going to roll that here pretty quick, right?
Sure. Actually, let's just get right started. Let's get right to it. There's a big game that Konami has that everyone's like, how's this going to work? And that game is Metal Gear Acid for the PSP. So let's check out the trailer for it. Hot, fresh right here. You've seen it first. Check it out. Metal Gear AC exclamation point D. That game looks cool.
It does. It's like it's funny because up until now, it's all been in Japanese pretty much every time we've seen it. So I know for me personally, it's been like, what's this game all about? It's going to be good. The whole idea of a Metal Gear strategy game, playing with cards. I used to be into Magic, so don't get me on the side.
I was too, I'll admit it.
Yeah. But seeing that game, it was just made me always want to, I really just wanted a regular Metal Gear game for the PSP. But after seeing it in English and seeing the demo they did at the presentation today and showing it off and how it works, I am actually excited for that game. I really want to get my hands on it and really put it through the paces.
Okay, and we'll be talking about it soon, but not yet.
Not yet.
All right, well, quick rundown on the show. As we said, Brian will be playing World of Warcraft all day. Brian, are you sure? Are you doing something cool right now? Do we want to watch you yet? Or are you no, not yet?
I'm still.
You're still dying.
Still chasing my body. There's just a huge war going on.
That's fine. That looks pretty cool. Yeah, chasing your body running now. What's your character? What are you rocking here?
I got a 36 level dwarf. His name is Beelzebubba, and this is his second appearance on the show.
That's right. It is his second appearance on the show. Last time we saw him, what level was he? Like in the teens?
18 or something. He's come a long way.
Nice.
He still dies every time he gets attacked, but he's come a long way.
Well, that's cool. So we'll be checking with Brian as the show goes along. Also, as I said, we run down the THQ and Konami Gamers Days.
Right.
And Ryan, you have Devil May Cry 3 right now.
Yeah, you people see me with the controller in my hand. It is because I have Devil May Cry 3 running on this TV over here, and I must say, yeah, I can't put it down. It's super fun. I'm loving it. I can't say enough good things about Devil May Cry 3.
Well, put it down, because
Okay.
we're going to be talking about, let's talk about THQ right now. THQ's event was last night. We'll cover them first, chronological order. It's all fair and good. We saw a ton of games there.
What'd you see?
We saw all kinds of stuff. We saw like MotoGP 3.
I heard that was awesome.
We saw WrestleMania 21. We saw Destroy All Humans. Brian, what else did you see
We saw
there?
Juiced.
We saw Juiced.
And that MX
versus ATV Unleashed. That was looking pretty good.
Acronym Heaven.
And what's it? Battlefronts
Battlefront.
Midway,
Yeah.
Battle Lines Midway, Battle Lines Midway. I think all kinds of great games. And do we have some footage of any of these games we can run to talk over? Or?
I believe we do.
Very cool. Now, my favorite game I have to say was there easily was Destroy All Humans.
Really?
Destroy All Humans was very cool. It's if you haven't seen it on the site, it was actually Alex's most anticipated game in 2005. It's a third-person action game. You are you're an alien named Crypto. I think we've maybe shown it on the show before. You're from this race of aliens who keeps cloning themselves to stay alive, and you're like you're Crypto number 137, and the game's got a really great sense of humor about it. Like, you play as this alien, you run around in 1950s Earth, America, I guess it is, and you're like running around from G-Men and shooting them and all this great stuff, and you can use mental powers and telepathic powers. You can take the form of other people. You can control them at their will. We have all kinds of media for this game. I'm talking so much about, I cut the developer interview for it last night, which I highly recommend you check out after the show.
Though right now, we should take a look at WrestleMania in action.
Oh, we see it. We have it in action?
Yeah, we actually have a little WrestleMania interview clip all lined up for people to take a look at. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and show some of the gameplay. We'll talk over the gameplay while that rolls. Mm-hmm. And now, one of the things, if you remember, like if you actually saw did you look at the THQ page yet?
I have, yeah. It's loaded.
For the people that haven't seen it, it's like, I mean, this is WrestleMania. This is one of the things that's going on right now. Now, you've seen this game and play it, right, Brian?
That's right. I got a chance to play it a couple nights ago, and it's come with the version we saw was pretty early in the process, but it looks like it's going to be pretty cool. I mean, any game that's got Eugene on the roster is good by my book.
So the stuff that we're seeing here is this is in game, I take it, is it?
Yeah, it's in game. The
Really?
game it looks. I mean, the models look great. It's not as like they don't have that sheen, that real kind of sweaty sheen that Day of Reckoning characters had, but they still look pretty good to me.
Now, is the action pretty much traditionally what we've seen in other wrestling games?
It has a few new tweaks. They've added what they call a pro reverse mechanic. Every time you see a exclamation point appear on the screen, it gives you an opportunity that in that window you have an opportunity to make a reversal, and so it allows you to string together reversals and really get a leg up on your opponent pretty easy. It's actually a pretty cool mechanic.
Now, when are they saying this is going to be ready?
In time for WrestleMania, so sometime in March, I suppose.
Right on. Now, this is one of the games you were talking about earlier, right?
This is MX versus ATV Unleashed. Great game coming out on the PlayStation 2 and Xbox. As I have a little personal ties to it. I was once a tester on MX Superfly. This is a completely different developer. Fun game. Last year's MX Unleashed, you could race against monster trucks. You could race against planes. You could race against helicopters. Now they've mixed in some ATVs, which are all very good.
Now, this is something that I'm actually super excited to see is Constantine. Of course, you guys seen the trailers, right, for the movie with Keanu Reeves?
Mm-hmm. Keanu Reeves kicking butt against demons,
Yeah,
totally.
Totally. It's like, it's like The Matrix, but spiritualized. So it's like, which is on my radar is way up there in the good factor, because like, look at him. He's running around. He's got weapons. There's like crazy, voodoo stuff going on. I'm all about that.
It should be cool, and hopefully the movie will be good. Keanu needs that. And here, as we were talking about before, Destroy All Humans. Great part about Destroy All Humans, as I was saying, you can see him running around. That's Crypto right there. His boss, I think his name is Pox, is voiced by one of the dudes from Invader Zim.
Oh, really?
Very cool. You also get to fly around a UFO and shoot a bunch of things, shoot a bunch of buildings. Check out all the media. This is MotoGP 3.
Tyler was going crazy about this game.
Totally. Brian, can you tell us anything about MotoGP 3?
Tyler and I were hammering the guy when they brought it by. We were hammering the guy with questions, and he's like, "You've got to talk to the developer of the game." He was the PR guy. He's like, "I don't know the answer to that," because we're like, "Oh, what about the physics? Oh, what about the riders and everything? Are they all updated for 2004?" And they're like, "Oh, you have to ask the developer." But this game looks so cool. I'm so excited about this game.
The sense of speed just looks ridiculous. Tyler pointed out to me yesterday and was like, unbelievable.
Yeah, it's really that's the thing that strikes you most about the game. Just going down straights and the camera starts to shake and the blur effects are incredible. It's just an amazing experience.
Yeah. Now, the last time I was way into Mortal Kombat games that did a really good job of sense of speed, of course, was James Bond: Everything or Nothing, on that one really super cool level, and it looks like they've turned that into, they've done it one better.
Yeah.
Cool. What we're looking at right here, this is Full Spectrum Warrior. You know it came out on the Xbox a while ago. Now it's available on the PlayStation 2, and they've added some new content. There's some online stuff there, and there are new levels. And we have some really cool footage of some of the new levels right now. Normally, as you play this game, it's kind of a strategy game. You control 2 teams of 4. One of the new levels, you get your 2 teams of 4, but you also get a sniper
that
you get to control. And he's totally got like the armor and everything. He looks like one of the dudes from Black Hawk Down. Very cool.
What is this we're taking a look
This
at?
is Juiced. This is the street racing game, which I believe used to be owned by, was it Acclaim?
Was it Acclaim, yeah?
I think it was an Acclaim game. It was pretty much close to being done. THQ picked it up. They're releasing it. It's another street racing game, which is it's a fun genre to play. You get to, put bumpers and cool paint jobs on your car. Should be a lot of fun.
Same vein as Need for Speed Underground, that kind of thing?
It appears, I think so.
Right
But
on.
they're all fun games.
So that's pretty much the lineup they showed off at THQ, correct?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. As I said, we have developer interviews for every single one of those games. We have gameplay movies, we have screens, and of course we have preview stories written by all our fine editors like Brian and Brad and Ricardo who saw all these games. So check them out after the show.
But right now, I think we're actually going to give them a tease of a little of that action with a little WrestleMania. I think we're going to give them a minute and 50-second excerpt from the developer interview we have for WrestleMania.
That's very specific.
I'm sorry.
Sure, wow, let's check it out. Here it is, developer interview, WrestleMania 21 for the Xbox. Check it out.
Hi, I'm Nick Vladica. I'm here to talk about WrestleMania 21 for the Xbox. We're really excited about this product. We've started from the ground up about 18-20 months ago, so it was a huge undertaking, very challenging, but at the same time it's allowed us to do a lot of things we wouldn't have been able to do if we were building upon an existing product. From the models being truly lifelike and some of the best out there on any Xbox games, through to motion capture technology for all the animation that sets this wrestling game apart from any other. We've added an online experience that's very, very robust and is going to provide hours and hours of fun for fans all over the world to play their friends that aren't necessarily in their homes. We've got a career mode that allows you to really start in a high school gymnasium on the indie circuit. Nobody watching you, nobody caring about you, in a really run-down facility with the sort of end goal of playing through the trials and tribulations of the WWE, the double crossing, and getting to the penultimate moment, which is WrestleMania 21, with the millions and millions of fans cheering you on. The gameplay system is a really, really cool system. When we undertook it, we took a look at, okay, you know what do consumers really, really like about the wrestling products that are out there right now? Let's not reinvent the wheel for everything. There's certain things that people love. So let's deliver on those and take it a step further to make it an even greater experience. So the way that we've handled our reversal system has really built on that core gameplay experience. And in a nutshell, we're delivering a fantastic wrestling experience that's completely different than any game that's been put out to date, yet draws inspiration from the successes that other products have featured.
For more on WrestleMania 21, check out the Game Space after the show. I want to mention right now also, THQ hooked us up with some great stuff we're going to be giving away. If you send us a good question with your mailing address and we like your question, you could win an MX vs. ATV Unleashed hat. It's one of those cool flex fits.
That's looking good.
It's not bad. And these crazy things, it's a belt made out of a seatbelt. So it's got a little Acura seatbelt belt buckle there, but it doubles as a belt. I don't know, is that what the kids are rocking these days?
That one says Honda over there.
Yeah, this one says Honda, this one says Acura. We might have one for a Viper around, but so if you send us your question, we like it, you could find a seatbelt belt arriving at your door sometime today. Speaking of questions, Ryan, do we have any questions lined up here?
I've got a bunch of questions. You feel some of these World of Warcraft questions?
Yeah, hit me.
All right, how about this? This comes from Max, California. He wants to know, in your opinion, what is the best PvP class?
Well,
I
may raise some ire here, but I guess you have to say it's the Paladin. I mean, it's a really powerful class that can go head-to-head with anybody, but they can also heal themselves and others, So it's a really well-rounded class. I can tell you one of the worst are apparently our level 36 dwarves, because I'm getting rolled in this game over and over. But yeah, Paladins seem to be the PvP character of choice these days.
Right on.
Alex in Nashville is wondering what levels the GameSpot editors are at these days.
Wow.
How's that treating them?
Yeah, I think we've got a pretty wide spectrum. I mean, I'm probably on the low side with 36 because I know we've got a lot of people well over 40, and we've actually got some guys in their teens as well too. So.
And we have at least one player in the it'll hit level 60
That's
as
right.
well, and he's walking around, he's flying, and I don't know what he's doing. He's crazy.
Big
Cool.
shot.
I have a WrestleMania 21 question.
Okay.
All right, actually a series of questions from Andrew Burwood. His location is Burwood as well, but I don't believe him. What are the graphics like? What's the creator wrestler like? And what's the speed like compared to the last game?
Graphics, we touched on it a little bit. They look really good. The models look fine. I mean, faces are recognizable, and they move pretty well. The game seems a little bit slow compared to other games in the series. They may work that out as things go. And I didn't see the creator wrestler mode because they weren't ready to show it yet. So I'm sure it'll be as extensive as it has been in the past.
Cool. If you're a GameSpot Complete member and you want to hear your question read on the show, fill out the form you see on the page right now. Any more? Should we move on to Konami?
I think we should move on.
Let's move on to Konami.
Excellent.
Very cool. Now, Ryan, yesterday.
Yes, sir.
No, wait, today.
Today.
I'm so lost. Time is no meaning right now. Earlier today, you rolled over to the Konami press event.
That's correct.
Where they showed a ton of games.
That's right.
Now, we've already seen the trailer for Metal Gear Acid.
Yeah, actually, the way I want to do it is, if you don't mind, we want to do a little different than the THQ
All right,
thing.
fine. We'll do it.
Since they got a bunch of really cool short trailers they showed off today, and literally, it just happened, so I want to get this out to the people as soon as I can, and right now, live right now, is about as fast as we could do it. So if we could go ahead and roll these trailers one at a time, let's go ahead and take a look at the Castlevania.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and take a look. So yeah, that was the business right there. That's Castlevania.
Curse of Darkness.
Yes,
For
Curse
the
of
PlayStation
Darkness.
2?
That is correct.
That looks very cool. Can you tell us about it?
I can tell you that Castlevania is side-scrolling. It's a 3D action adventure game,
Right.
kind of in the same vein as what you're about to see here with the little Devil May Cry 3 action. But yeah, it's super action, super jamming, super jumping around. But from the video, it still weighs out. They actually didn't want to say anything that much today, so they just talked a little bit about the story. And if I scroll down, I can tell you a little bit about it. They didn't want to do too much and get away from the whole Castlevania feel, which of course is heavy on the combat. So what they did tell us is they did tell us a little bit about the story, and they tell us that you play as a completely different character in the game. And this character is actually what they call him. They call him an innocent devil. Oh no, sorry. They call him. Let me look at my notes real quick if you don't mind. It takes place 3 years after the events in Dracula's Curse, Castlevania 3. One of Dracula's top lieutenants, this guy named by the name of Isaac. He's one of the other bad guys that you're with, and you decide you don't want to listen to Dracula no more, so you're going to bail out of there. Isaac, however, has a whole plan that he hatches by killing Dracula and luring you back to react to some revenge on him. But the cool thing is, that's pretty much all they would say right now. They actually weren't going to show it. They said that they weren't planning on showing it today, but instead they decided they wanted to give some people something to look forward to for the Castlevania.
Sounds great.
Yeah, totally.
What else do they have there?
They actually had another Castlevania.
No,
game.
they didn't have another Castlevania game there.
Totally, they did. Yeah, the Castlevania for the DS. So we have that all lined up as well, I think. And so if we can take a look at that, let's go ahead and roll it. So yeah, that's Castlevania for the DS. Obviously, Castlevania on the DS means you have 2 screens, right? So you got a little action there. They talked a little bit about how that's going to work and what you can do in the game. Just to give you a bit of the backstory on where this takes place. It takes place a year after the events in Area of Sorrow. So for all the Castlevania fans out there,
you give us a lot to keep track of.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. Keep going.
But yeah, the gist of it is basically this evil cult is after him and they basically want to smoke him and his family, right? So what he decides to do is do him one better and just decides to join them. That way they don't have to they don't have anything against him. So that's a little bit what they gave us in the background of the story. But they did tell us a little bit about how they're going to use the DS's feature, of course, with the touchpad. The one thing they did show is they once again, Castlevania is all about the action. So there they made a conscious decision not to have you doing stuff on the touchscreen as well as playing the game. So what they did is they have this whole magic seal thing. So when you fight like a boss or something like that, you basically go after the boss as hard and fast as you can, and once you get them down pretty much to no life, you still have to do like this little touch thing on the little touchpad. It's like this whole magical seal thing to kind of banish them forever once and for all.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it does look pretty good. It's still a ways out, but you can see there, they got some good business going on.
That sounds like a weird version of like how in Boktai you need to have the sun at the end to kill the boss every time. Right. But this time you're touching instead of the sun shining on you. Sure, I like it.
Right on. Yeah. But the next clip we're going to take a look at right now is one for Enthusia, of course, Konami's big racing game they got coming out. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So that was the Enthusia. And I have to admit, once again, like I was talking about earlier, it was like Enthusia, much like Metal Gear Acid, was a game that I had seen before. I wasn't necessarily excited. Of course, we got Forza on the Xbox. We got Gran Turismo 4 on the PS2.
I've heard of that game.
Yeah. You've heard of those
games, right?
Yeah,
both of those games. I've heard of both of them. I think so, yeah.
And but Enthusia, in all honesty, seeing it this time, they actually showed this 8-minute-long video, and it was the one thing in the presentation, which we'll have up after the show, that they wouldn't let us actually show, which is interesting because that game does look really neat, and they have a lot of cool stuff going for it. I think that the secret is they want people to be kind of astonished and amazed by what they see. They showed a lot of neat things. Like one of the things they showed is like I think it's Mazda Miata. It looks pretty much like the same. Actually, I could be totally wrong about that car, but it's this silver car that they have in the game running on a track. And they have the real life car basically, one on top of the other parallel. Mm-hmm. And the video footage is basically they took the virtual car and did the same run they did with the real life car. And it's spooky. It is. They have them right there on the same screen. They look a lot alike. So
you said we'll have the entire Konami presentation up on the site after the show.
That is correct.
But not these pimp 8 minutes of Enthusia?
That is the one thing they would not allow us to show. And so we have to abide by Konami's wishes since they gave us all this other great stuff.
We'll reenact it with shadow puppets on the next show.
Yeah, that's right.
What we got coming up next?
We got some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Melee coming up.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I got that #1 on my TiVo programs to record. I love this show. Yeah, totally.
This is an extension, of course, of that show and those characters. So let's go ahead and take a look at the clip.
What's 1 point? Before you know it, we're all gonna score a point. Let's rock! It's some shit.
So that was a little Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Melee. As you probably could tell, it's the Melee, like the name says, is all about the fighting, as you can see in the action. So they're doing a little bit of kind of along the lines of the Super Smash Brothers Melee. So it's more of a fighting game than really anything else. So you got 4 players jamming on and beating each other up, and
very cool.
All kinds of, and that's all across all platforms. So they're going to have all kinds of fun stuff with that. Right now, we're going to take a look at one of the PSP games they actually talked about for the first time today, Rengoku Tower of Purgatory. And the interesting thing about this is I think it actually comes out in Japan right now. So like we might actually have a Japanese copy that's coming soon. But here is a clip of the game that you're seeing right now, and it does look like it has a lot of stuff to it. It definitely looks interesting. It's like there was a lot of PSP action there. This was one of the big ones. You're going to see another clip coming up right after this one for Death Jr. And in all honesty, that was the one that I was super excited to see. It's like you were there. You were the first person to shoot PSP footage for Death Jr. So this is the second time we've actually, or this is actually the first time since then, really, that we got to see the game in action. But yeah, the Rengoku Tower of Purgatory does look like it has a whole lot to it.
I remember the story for this game is pretty cool. It's like you have to keep fighting up different floors of this huge tower.
Right.
This prisoner or something. I can't remember exactly what it is.
This is one of the games that they had at TGS. And in all honesty, when we first saw it at TGS, it seemed kind of clunky. You can see we got some old movies up there from TGS on it. And it was kind of like you seem to like just stalk around and kind of break stuff and hit people or whatever. But and that's kind of it's kind of the way it's evolved. But it definitely seems faster and it's done a lot more. So it's definitely see that game's coming along more than it has been.
Can't wait for it.
I know.
Can't wait for Death Jr. though.
Death Jr. Let's just roll it. Yeah,
as you said, where was it? Was down in San Jose. It was at CES. Was that what it was?
No. What was it like?
What
was it GDC?
GDC. It was last year's GDC.
Yeah, last year's GDC.
You guys sent me down there. Like, I'll take a camera to the Sony event. You'll see William Hung sing like on one of the iToy games, and then they're all saying, "Oh, by the way, we're going to show you footage of Death Jr."
I remember you came back and was like, "I got footage of the PSP."
And I was like, "What are you talking about? It's not real." And tell us about Death Jr.
Death Jr. sounds like the awesomest thing. Out of all the presentations, and Konami did really put on a good show today. Out of all the presentations, Chris Charla, he's like one of the lead guys working on this game right now. And he talked about it, and it sounds really cool. It sounds like it has kind of that quirky, you mentioned it earlier, Grim Fandango, kind of that whole kind of quirky, like little slapstick stuff, kind of like almost in the same veins as like the Beetlejuice kind of,
nice
gothic little ghoulish but funny, death stuff. So you got Death Jr. He's this dude that's basically this little skeleton guy. He wants to impress this girl really bad, and so what's he do? He opens his box that he shouldn't, and basically unleashes hell on Earth.
Oh, okay.
And so that's basically it's the traditional story of saving the world, but in this case, you're not only saving the world to save the world, but you're also saving it to save your own butt too, because it's your fault. So Death Jr. does sound like it's pretty cool. A lot of cool characters in there.
I like the exchange student with the unibrow who doesn't have any limbs and is in a jar.
Oh yeah, totally.
That guy looks so cool. Look on the screenshot index. There's some great concept art room. Check it out.
And he talks about those characters. There's like there's a young girl named Pandora, and of course she has an affinity for opening things like boxes and locks that she shouldn't. And so it sounds like they do a lot of cool stuff with that. But yeah, it's a combat game. It looks kind of like an action platformer, but they definitely said that they spent some more time making the game fun and like super combat orientated. And it's not like they have platform stuff over here and action stuff over here. It's just a nice mix and a variety. So it does look really cool, and you can see it from the video there.
Sweet. What else we got?
We got a whole list of stuff. We're going to go to the next one, which is Lost in Blue, which is a DS game. So we're going to check that out right now. This one actually has sound, so I think we're going to roll it straight. Let's take a look. Says you're Lost in Blue, and that's for the DS, of course. And Tim said it earlier. He basically lost the game. What you saw there is pretty much what we know about it. It's like you're on this island, you're hunting, you're fishing, you're searching,
lost.
You're surviving. Yeah, totally. So that's pretty much Lost in Blue for the DS.
Looks cool. Nice
it does.
graphics.
Yeah,
nice
they got some good
graphics.
stuff going on
I like
there.
that DS.
This is a blast in the past. The next one we're going to look at real quick. It's Frogger back in 2005. This one's all across all platforms as well. PSP, DS, all kinds of fun stuff. PlayStation 2. So let's go ahead and roll the clip and take a look at it. So that was your Frogger 2005, baby.
I think they made Frogger too cute. I couldn't get that. I couldn't make him get run over by a truck.
I don't know.
I'd feel bad about
Well,
it.
that's okay, because they're going to have the old classic hidden in there as well.
Okay,
so if
good.
you want to, you can just pull up the old classic and
that's
then
fine.
boom, squish that little guy.
Get rid of it. Cool.
The last game we have on this list is Dragon Booster. Do you want to go ahead and roll that real quick? And then-
Sure.
All right, cool. We're going to take a look at Dragon Booster, and this is the last of the Konami stuff, and then we'll move on. It was Dragon Booster for the DS. You know, it's kind of flat. You know, not a whole lot going there. It's still early. You know, they still got some stuff to do.
Let's take some questions.
Let's do
There's
it.
a lot of great games. Taylor Migner, I bet this is a common question. A lot of people have it there, from Boxborough, Massachusetts.
Yes, sir.
Is Castlevania for the PS2 the big announcement that Konami said they would reveal today?
You know, it's funny because I was talking to somebody earlier about this, and on their website, I guess they had that one little tag that was like, "Come back for big news." You know, there was a lot of big news. Castlevania was one of the things they talked about. One of the other neat things they talked about is a 2-player head-to-head mode in Metal Gear Acid, which is cool. You know, I'll be able to take you on wirelessly. I mean, you could see who's the better Metal Gear strategist, as well as Coded Arms. Coded Arms was there. They showed some of that stuff. That's, of course, the first-person shooter for the PlayStation Portable, and they've got random generated dungeons, or I should say, random generated levels. And the cool thing about that is, you know, we've heard about that in other games. But the cool thing about it in this particular game is the multiplayer. You'll have 4 players, multiplayer, and as you know, I play a lot of Counter-Strike, and I know those levels like the back of my hand. The cool thing with you know the Coded Arms is that you'll have these random generated levels that you'll be able to play single player and multi, and so then there'll be lots of different stuff. So there was lots of cool stuff there. I guess you would probably say that Castlevania Play was the biggest thing in terms of news and what they showed there. So, but there was lots of good stuff as you saw.
Very cool. You want some more questions, or should you check out Brian playing World of Warcraft?
Let's see what
right now?
Brian's
Brian,
got.
how you doing over there?
I'm doing good. Actually, I've got like 90% of my entire guild here.
Oh,
really?
wow.
Yeah, they all showed up for me, and
That's
so
cool. My posse's getting big.
That's
and my
right.
posse's getting bigger.
of course, what's sad is 90% of my guild means about 4 people. But it's okay. We're all here. We're in Hillsbrad, and we're sort of just, kind of looking for things to kill. We made it out of Stormguard, or Stormgrad, I should say, and got all the badges for my quest, and so now we're just gonna kill some bears.
Very cool. Thomas in Fort Lauderdale wants to know, in World of Warcraft, will you level up faster by playing the game by yourself or in a group?
That's a good question, actually. It depends. Obviously for some quests, you need a lot of people just because they're so complex and so difficult, and the monsters you face are so tough. But if you can, find an area where you're comfortable and you can survive, you can actually gain a lot of experience just soloing and having a good time by yourself. The game is pretty well balanced that way.
Very cool.
Have you by any chance played any of the EverQuest 2?
I haven't. I've only played EverQuest 1. I haven't touched EverQuest 2.
Touch EverQuest 2. I had a question here from Daniel Cheng in California. He's a fan of GameSpot and would like to know, for a beginner, would World of Warcraft or EverQuest 2 be the game of choice? I've tried my hand at the EverQuest 2. I'm going to say World of Warcraft. I'm not a big expert on either one of them, but from a beginner, and I guess that's kind of what he's asking, I found World of Warcraft to be a little bit more simpler and a little more, straightforward.
One of the things Blizzard does in their games is they make it very approachable for beginners. Their interface is so easy to get into and accessible that even if you're new to the MMORPG sort of genre, I think you can get into the game pretty easily.
Oh.
So
That's cool. And that you just answered Daigo's question in Latvia, so there you go. How easy is it to get into World of
I
Warcraft?
thought he might ask that
Yeah, you
question.
knew it. Mesmerized in Bismarck, North Dakota. I'm looking forward to Destroy All Humans, but what can I expect when I play? Is it going to be action adventure? Is it more RPG based, or neither? It's definitely an action game. Mesmerized. You want to check it out? Check out the developer interview. We have the, what's his name? He was the head art director or something like that for the game. He answered your questions. Basically, he said about 70% of the time, you're going to be running around on foot, shooting everybody, sneaking up on them. 30% of the time, you'll be flying around in your saucer, blowing them up from the sky. So
Fantastic.
all kinds of action.
Sounds like you know a lot about Destroy All Humans. I'm going to ask you this one from Nick in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Put me on the
Will
spot.
you be able to switch between first and third person?
I'm pretty sure it's just third person.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure
I've
it
only
is.
really seen, I think
I've only seen third person.
there might be some aiming stuff in there or something.
Maybe if
do,
you get a weapon. There are a ton of weapons. There are a ton of telepathic powers. So maybe one of those.
But it looks like the majority of the
everything
game
I've
is
seen has been
third
third person.
Right on.
I see Kyle in Irvine, California. Rich, why do you look and sound so much like Jay Moore? I took that question because I'm sick of people saying that. I do not look and sound like Jay Moore. Jesse from EB, if you're watching, no, I do not look and sound like Jay Moore. I get that one all the time. I don't appreciate it.
My wife wonders the same thing.
Dude, stop it! It's been following me forever.
This is a question for you. I'm going to ask you. Might know those.
Last question before we move on.
Okay, the Stephen Tramp from Beaumont, Texas. He wants to know: will there be more than one battleground, and how many players will participate in it?
Boy, that's a good question. I think there will be several battlegrounds. I don't know how many, and I don't know the answer to the second part of the question. But the way because I don't think they've announced the exact number. But from what I understand, it's going to be massive on both sides, and you're going to have a lot of things to do in the battlegrounds, not just fight. You're going to be able to run special missions behind enemy lines and cool things like that.
Cool.
Once it's implemented, I think it's going to be a really great addition to the game.
Excellent.
By the way, I'm currently holding in my left hand on this piece of paper the 5 names of the people who won the PSPs, and they get 3 games each. Is that what they got?
They get 3 games. They get Ridge Racer, Luminous, and I believe it is Vampire Chronicles.
Yeah, sounds right. We will be announcing these 5 winners at the end of the show, as well as giving away 6 collector's editions of World of Warcraft. So stay tuned, Ryan. Right now, though, we got a really cool demo. What do you got for us?
I've got this Devil May Cry 3 sitting over here with my PlayStation 2. And I'm actually going to jump into it right now, if you don't mind.
Yeah, jump right in. Tell us what's going on.
All right, well, this is me on the pause screen. I'm going to hit the pause and get back out of it. This is actually the very first part of the game. As soon as you get in, there's a little intro, a little cinematic we skip so you can just get into the action. And as you can see, they've done quite a bit to Devil May Cry 3. The one thing I will tell you, I was a big fan of the first 2 games. Certainly the first one. This one is crazy. The graphics, I mean, you tell me, Rich. Look at how fast and how smooth that game is looking.
This game is looking really good. I remember watching the trailer. You got the tutorials on right now because,
Yes.
as you said, this is your first time playing the game. But the trailers for this game got us so excited. It had such cool music, such cool graphics, all the cool, crazy style moves and everything. This game is just looking great.
And like one of the first things that we did skip over is you can change your style. You can do a bunch of customizable stuff. That is the first time we're going to see a lot of that stuff in the Devil May Cry. And I've been trying to do it since I've been playing. I saw this really cool move that you can do where you're basically sliding on the guys, but I think I actually have to earn that. I think I have to go through the game a ways and start stacking stuff up in order to be able to unlock more and more moves.
Understandable.
But yeah, everything we've seen so far. I mean, like the destructible backgrounds is actually. Before we started the show, I think you saw me having some fun with.
That's right.
I was over here. There was a bunch of band equipment that I was bashing.
I don't think it's very fair that these guys are just coming at you with some skies, but then you get both the sword and guns.
Oh, I know, huh?
That's just not
Especially
fair.
when I can jump in the air and shoot them like that. And I was trying to do my favorite, knocking them up in the air like in the first one. Oh,
I like the jumping in the air and shooting on your way down. That was pretty cool.
that's some good business, huh? So yeah, Devil May Cry 3 is definitely looking hot. I can't wait to have more time with it. This is still an early build, so they still have, the final one's going to be even more optimized than what we're seeing here. But yeah, I'm definitely super excited for it, and I can't wait to get my hands a little further. I get myself a little further in the game and get some more hands-on time with it.
That game is looking smooth.
It's hard to not want to play this game.
It's like, actually, those guys in Ready beating up look like an advanced version of the guys that were in Death Jr.
Oh yeah.
Coincidence? I'm sure it is just a coincidence, but.
And these guys are more serious than ever, though. Look at that.
Oh, that's a
Dumb.
good spot to end your demo right there.
That is a good spot.
That game's looking really good. If you want to see more about Devil May Cry 3, stay tuned to the site, and we'll have plenty more in the coming days.
That
and
is
weeks,
correct.
As well as tons of stuff from from the Konami press event, tons of stuff from the THQ press event, all kinds of crazy business.
As well as stuff such as DICE next week.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's all
Really?
the
I'm
stuff we
sorry.
have from this week. Now, Ryan, why don't you tell us about what's coming up next week in the world of gaming?
There's a whole bunch of stuff happening in the world of gaming. One of the biggest things, of course, is the DICE conference, once again, the DICE Summit, which is is called DICE for Design, Innovate, Create, and Explore, I'm pretty sure. So DICE is, of course, if you remember some of the stuff that from last year, basically all the developers get together in one place for one time and talk about the industry issues at large. It's not about one company or one person. It's about how do we make better games for a bigger audience. And so it's a really neat thing that I enjoyed seeing and going to last year. But I think we actually have a little excerpt from last year's, which if you remember, one of the big things from DICE last year, of course, was Jason Rubin, of course, of the Naughty Dog fame and Crash Bandicoot creator. He went off last year about talking about the publishers having all the power and developers not having enough. And so I think we actually have an excerpt which was from his passionate speech. Let's take a look.
Hollywood can't get away with disrespecting their talent like that. They simply can't do it. If Steven Spielberg calls up for a premiere, he had nothing to do with it. Or actually, this person's person calls up. Mr. Spielberg would like to attend. Absolutely. How many people would he like to bring? But that's how Hollywood acts. Why? Why do they understand that talent has that value? Working on a Spielberg movie will make Universal Studios have a better year than not, on average. Why don't we get that?
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if this year's DICE can compete with last year's, because last year's, it was amazing. There was lots of good discussions, hearing those guys talk about all that stuff. It was really cool.
And they also give out awards, and they
That's
have
right.
like a bunch of
They have
shows and
it's basically the
sessions
industry awards show, so they'll have like a whole ceremony where they're passing out awards to people like you've seen on TV. This is, of course, the industry, the designers and the people that actually work and make the games that we love to play. Those people are actually the people that voted on their peers and their games, and so it's really cool.
Very cool.
It's definitely something to look forward to next week.
A lot of smart people coming together,
Yeah.
talking about things. It's going to be interesting. Brian, speaking of smart people, what you got going on over there right now? How's World of Warcraft treating you?
Well, I think we're finally extracting revenge for the humiliating defeats we suffered earlier. I'm trying to chase this Horde guy down and teach him a lesson in respect.
Now, what server are you on real quick? I've been asked to ask you again.
Right, we're on Ner'zhul.
right.
Don't ask me to spell it, and I can barely
Can you
pronounce
spell
it.
Ner'zhul for us, please?
Yeah, it's got an apostrophe in there somewhere.
Apostrophe,
Yeah.
Z. Very cool.
Yeah.
All right, that's World of Warcraft. Now, Ryan.
Yes, sir.
We have some other great stuff. You're going off to DICE with some people.
That's
but
correct.
We have a lot of great stuff going on right here on the site next week.
That's absolutely correct.
Called Game Spotting Live.
Can you tell me about it?
I can tell you all about Game Spotting Live. Back in the day, I think we did the last one maybe over a year.
It was like
ago.
October
It might have been- Wow, it's so long ago. Basically, as you may or may not know, GameSpot runs an editorial feature every week, which is now basically journal entries listed on a page. It's called Game Spotting. You get to read what's going on in the minds of GameSpot editors at the current time. They just sit there and write. Brian, what did you write about recently? It was about,
I wrote about World of Warcraft,
Yeah,
funny
what a
enough.
surprise.
And how I have no money.
And from time to time, or we used to from time to time, Game Spotting became Game Spotting Live, where the GameSpot Live crew comes in and they make a video. Like, we've had some good stuff, like Jeff did some gaming haikus once.
Right.
Ryan, you did a great piece with you and Alex and Jeff on your really long commute in every day.
Right.
Cooking with Tim will always be a cult favorite. I once made the making of Let's GameSpot, which is a lot of fun. And finally, next week, Game Spotting Live returns. And I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say it's the best one yet.
Really?
I'm going to say it's the best one yet. It's been a year.
That's
I'm gonna
a
say
bold statement,
Our
my
skills
friend.
have gotten pretty good. We're working on some great stuff.
Wow.
I'm seeing theme songs. We got
Whoa.
logos being made. We got all kinds of comedy going on. And we have a clip right now
Whoa.
from Bob's Game Spotting Live.
Excellent.
Yeah, let's check it out.
End of a long workday, and I've got one thought on my mind. No challenges from other editors can distract me. No other game can distract me. And no one's getting in my way. It's amazing that in an office full of the latest games, gaming technology, and even unreleased games, there's one in our little arcade that can always draw me in.
And we are back. What game makes Bob so excited, so violent, and so competitive? Find out next week. I believe it'll be Tuesday. Game Spotting Live makes its triumphant return.
I can't wait.
Ryan, we've come to that part of the show.
What's that?
It's that final wrap up that we love so much. We start throwing questions all over the place. We start giving away stuff.
Right on.
Before we start answering questions, I gotta say right now, quickly. Last week we gave away 6 copies of Mercenaries. The winners were for the PlayStation 2, Marquez Stewart of Tennessee, Thomas Brown of Florida, and Bradford Ferguson of Illinois. Those are the PlayStation 2 winners. Xbox copies of Mercenaries go to Anthony Jolly of Maryland, Pete Vellucci Jr. of Pennsylvania, and Todd Willie of Connecticut. So those are your Mercenary winners. Now, Ryan, before we start giving away all the stuff, let's answer some questions.
All right, I've got one from 3 the Mod in Canada.
Again.
He wants to know, will Acid follow the traditional style of MGS games with lots of cutscenes, or will there be more gameplay in the game? From what I saw, it looks like they had some cutscenes in there. I can't really talk about how much there is of this or that. From what I've seen, it looks like there's going to be a mission. There's going to be cutscene stuff in between that and the next mission. So I don't know if it's going to be as much. If I had to guess, I wouldn't say quite as much since PSP isn't packing all that that much. I guess actually
it's got a lot, but not
1.8. Yeah, it's just 1.8. So they can fit as much as they want onto in there, I guess. But from what I've seen right now, they're just showing a lot of the moving around the map stuff. So we'll see.
How well versed are you in the history of Devil May Cry? Are you a big Devil May Cry fan? Have you played the other games before?
It's like when you start getting all the characters, because there was a lot of characters. Yeah. That's where I get a little fuzzy. If you're talking
I'm just asking. Can you compare Devil May Cry 3 to the other previous games?
I could say that Devil May Cry 3 to me seems a little bit more like the Devil May Cry 1. Devil May Cry 2 did a lot of stuff. Looked really good. Some camera stuff here and there. But yeah, Devil May Cry 3 to me looks like the culmination of the first 2 games. Like everything they've took and learned, it looks like they definitely applied it to Devil May Cry 3.
Cool. Well, you just answered Steve's and Rick's questions.
Fantastic.
There you go, fellas. How does the gun targeting work?
The gun targeting is basically you got the R1 up there. You can switch from different targets. You can target with your gun. You can switch on the fly to your weapon. So it's pretty much similar like it's always been. You can lock on. You can move around. Very free, very good.
So Steve in Baltimore, Dark Devil in New York, and Rick Montano in Long Beach. Those were your questions answered right there. Thank you very much.
I've got one for you. This comes from Nick in, he didn't actually write down where he's from, but he wants to know, is the storyline Constantine the same in the game as it is in the movie?
Now the trailer we have, which is all I can base my knowledge on, says inspired by the movie that's coming out. So I'm guessing you'll see some similar parts to it, and the fact that they kind of got a lockdown on the game, they wouldn't let us show footage. I'm guessing there will be stuff that is similar to the movie, but I'm guessing there will also be stuff that is not what you'll see in the movie. So some of both.
Here's another question, if you don't mind. Chris Alexander from Rockville, Virginia. He wants to know, is Metal Gear Acid only card-based, or is it a combination of traditional strategy and card-based strategy? From everything I've seen, it's all based on cards. So if you've ever played Magic or any of those card games, it's the same thing. Basically, there's a cost associated with anything you want to do, any weapon you want to use. So if you're going to use the FAMAS, there's 16 points that it's going to cost you to do that. The cost is associated, I believe, with the time. And so you got to kind of just weigh the cost of what you want to do versus what you want to use. But there's cards for anything. All the guns, all the moves, all the stuff you want to do. It's all cards. It's,
Jeff
Melnick
in Gainesville, Florida. David Hayter, will he be in there?
As far as voice, you mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Or just
a
virtual David Hayter running around? He means the voice.
I don't know if there's the David Hayter voice in there.
That's cool. Look, another mod, Oilers99, David Spina. He wants us to give a shout out to everyone in the finalists and developers for a day contest. Nice work, guys. Keep it up. We'll be talking more about that as we get closer to the when that all wraps up, the judging and everything.
Are we going to give stuff away now? Or you got
let's totally give some stuff away. All right, cool. Let's all give all kinds of stuff away. Right now, we have 6 copies of World of Warcraft Collector's Edition we're giving away.
Boom.
Go on eBay. These things are worth a lot. That's because you get all kinds of stuff for them. Now, Brian, I know you're familiar with the Collector's Edition.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us what people can find? I'm just going to keep picking them up.
I know. It's like they're big and cool and heavy.
You get the full game, of course, and you also get like a cloth map and like this gorgeous art book that shows off some of the concept art for the game. And I think there's a DVD, if I'm correct. There's a DVD.
There's a behind-the-scenes DVD. There's a soundtrack. There's some art. You get one of 3 exclusive pets.
Yeah.
The devilish little Diablo, the faithful panda cub, or the voracious Zergling.
Right.
I think I'd go either the panda or the Zerg, I think. They're both,
Pandas, they take little naps, too.
Do they really?
It's kind of cute.
Oh, that's adorable. That's great. All right, so we're giving away 6 of these copies, all thanks to the fine people at Blizzard. And the trivia question is, what server was Brian playing World of Warcraft on today? In case 6 people don't get it right, first 6 people with a complete mailing address and that answer will give it away. But if you get the correct spelling and someone before you doesn't, I'm going to give it to you instead of them. So if you can find out the correct spelling of the server that Brian was on today with your complete name and mailing address, you just won yourself a collector's edition copy of World of Warcraft.
That's some business.
That's really cool. That's a great prize.
That's awesome.
Thanks to the folks at Blizzard. That was awesome. Now,
Now,
Ryan, do you want to read these or can I read these?
you can read them.
Why don't you
All right.
you start?
Can I move over this
yeah,
way?
I'll
Start
let you
picking
move. Just
stuff?
pick. Well, actually, they can see it from here. What do we got there? We
Yeah, we
have
got
5
Luminous.
PSPs.
Yes, sir.
We have
Luminous.
5. What games do we have?
We got Ridge Racers,
Uh-huh.
we got Luminous, and we got Vampire Chronicles.
Okay.
And we got 5 Japanese PSPs.
Very cool.
Yes,
now,
sir.
this
That's a-
contest was open to all GameSpot. If you were a GameSpot complete member, you were automatically entered in this question, whether
Correct.
contest, whether you knew it or not. So here are the winners.
All right.
All right. Winner number 1, Lawrence Clark of Isles, Tennessee. Congratulations, you just won yourself a PSP.
Boom.
Alex Schwartz in Columbia, South Carolina. Congratulations. Boom. Clint Trice, Elwood, Indiana. That's PSP number 3.
Whoa.
Another Chris Zrout, Z-R-O-U-T of Poulsbo, Washington. Congratulations. That is a PSP. We'll give you that one. It's right there. And I have in my hand right now the last one
last
of
one?
the
One
PSP
more.
prize package from here at GameSpot. Congratulations goes to Jason Hogan of Fort Wayne, Indiana. You've won yourself a PSP and 3 games, courtesy of all the fun people here at GameSpot.
That's right.
That is a great giveaway.
That's a great show.
That's a great show. Now, I'm going to say, though, this is a great giveaway.
Uh-huh.
Next week's show, Ryan,
Yes, sir.
we got all kinds of stuff to give away. So I'll give you 5 PSPs. I believe we're giving away a DS on next week's show. We're giving away some games, maybe like some Resident Evil 4. What? I don't know. We got a whole lot of stuff. So come back next week. Brian, thanks for coming by. Ryan, thanks for coming by.
Hey.
All the crew who just rushed over here from the Konami event or stayed here late, putting up all the great THQ stuff. That was a phenomenal show. Oh, man. We'll see you next week right here on The Spot.